Crawford could beat him, because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for.
The boxing world is set for a historic showdown as Terence Crawford prepares to take on Canelo Alvarez in September 2025. This highly anticipated bout has generated immense excitement as Crawford, the reigning undisputed welterweight champion, steps up in weight to challenge Alvarez, a dominant force in the super middleweight division. While many view Crawford as the underdog due to the size disparity, several experts believe his superior technical ability and strategic brilliance could lead him to a monumental victory.
You know, I'll be going for Bud. You know, if he fight Canelo.
You got Crawford over Bud? I mean, you got Crawford over Canelo? Sorry.
I'll be going for him. I'll be going for him. I mean,
Crawford's journey to this fight has been nothing short of remarkable. Starting his career in much lower weight classes, he gradually moved up, capturing world titles in multiple divisions. On the other hand, Alvarez is a natural super middleweight who has even competed at light heavyweight, making this an uphill battle for Crawford in terms of physicality. However, those well-versed in boxing understand that size alone does not determine the outcome of a fight. Many believe Crawford's ability to adapt, his ring IQ, and his sharp counterpunching could neutralize Alvarez's power.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo.
One fighter who knows exactly how dangerous Crawford can be is Errol Spence Jr. Spence faced Crawford in July 2023 in a historic battle for the undisputed welterweight championship. The fight was expected to be a closely contested war, but Crawford delivered a masterclass in boxing. From the opening bell, he controlled the pace, using precise combinations, impeccable timing, and relentless pressure to dismantle Spence.
It's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside, and he can fight going both ways. So,
by the 9th round, Crawford secured a stoppage victory, capturing all 4 welterweight belts and solidifying his place as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport. Having experienced Crawford's dominance firsthand, Spence has thrown his support behind him for the upcoming clash with Alvarez. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Spence stated, "I'll be going for Bud if he fights Canelo. I don't know if he's going to win or lose, but if anybody can pull it off, he can."
Him and Crawford accept to fight in Saudi Arabia, the big fight. But we as a real season know how is big this fight.
Spence also pointed out that Crawford is chasing greatness, comparing his move up in weight to Alvarez's past decisions. Canelo moved up to 175 to fight Sergey Kovalev and Dmitry Bivol. If he can do it, why can't Bud? Spence remarked.
Is Crawford the biggest fight in the game?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next thing.
Despite Crawford's skill and determination, defeating Alvarez is no easy feat. The Mexican superstar has established himself as one of the most decorated fighters of his generation, with victories over elite opponents such as Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev. Known for his devastating body shots and powerful counterpunching, Alvarez has the ability to wear down opponents and finish them with precise, well-timed strikes. If Crawford fails to maintain his defensive sharpness, Alvarez's relentless pressure and power could prove overwhelming.
When I could call my friend, you know, he's been in my house, so it's hard for me to go against my own friend. I just hope both of them come out healthy, make a lot of money, and give the fans a great.
The fight was officially confirmed after Alvarez signed a 4-fight deal, spanning from May 2025 to October 2026. One of the contracted fights will be against Crawford, set to take place in Las Vegas. However, before facing Crawford, Alvarez has another major challenge ahead. On May 3, 2025, he will defend his undisputed super middleweight championship against IBF champion William Skull in Riyadh.
If he does beat Canelo, Terence does beat Canelo, Terence does prove that he's a better fighter than Canelo. Now, whose era it was, it's kind of hard to do that for Bud because obviously Canelo was on top of the sport for much longer. He was able to get any fight that he
Skull, a Cuban-German fighter with an undefeated 23-0 record, is a dangerous and highly skilled boxer. Since turning professional in 2016, he has steadily climbed the ranks, securing dominant victories and proving himself as a legitimate threat in the super middleweight division. While Alvarez is the favorite going into the fight, he cannot afford to overlook Skull. A loss or even a tough fight could impact his preparation for Crawford.
Excuse my language, the size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this.
Terence Crawford is keeping a close eye on the action as he prepares for what could be the biggest fight of his career. With Canelo Alvarez set to face IHBHF champion William Skull in May 2025, Crawford sent a direct message to the Mexican superstar. Good luck, Canelo.
Crawford's name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight
I'm looking forward to becoming a 3-time undisputed champion. Crawford's goal is clear. He wants to make history by becoming the first male boxer to hold undisputed titles in 3 weight classes. It's an almost impossible feat, but Crawford has built his career on defying the odds. However, the weight difference between him and Canelo has become one of the most talked about aspects of this fight. Canelo is a natural super middleweight who has fought as high as light heavyweight, while Crawford only recently moved up to welterweight.
Crawford's name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight
The size and strength disparity could play a significant role, leading many fans to favor Canelo. However, those who have seen Crawford up close, including top fighters and trainers, believe his skill and determination make him a serious contender.
It's a Sugar Ray Leonard Hagler type thing. I think he can go up and shock the world, but I guess we'll see, you know.
Well, maybe, you know, I think what Crawford is looking for is Manny Pacquiao De La Hoya fight.
Crawford's versatility is one of his greatest strengths. He's known for his ability to switch stances and adjust his game plan in the middle of a fight. Against Errol Spence Jr., he started in a southpaw stance and used it to control distance, land clean shots, and systematically break Spence down. His high boxing IHQ allows him to anticipate his opponent's moves before they happen. This ability to adapt could be his key to victory against Canelo.
Max, if he accepts, I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size.
On the other hand, Canelo is famous for his powerful counterpunching and relentless body attack. He excels at breaking down opponents over multiple rounds before landing a finishing blow when they're exhausted. If Crawford isn't careful, Canelo could wear him down and stop him late in the fight. Boxing legend Mike Tyson recently weighed in on the fight, and he didn't hold back his concerns. Speaking on his It Is What It Is podcast, Tyson admitted that he doesn't like the fight due to the weight difference. "I don't like that fight. Too much weight," Tyson said, making it clear that he sees Canelo's size advantage as a major issue.
I don't want to say it's impossible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where if he really wants to win against Canelo, he's going to need to do everything, you know. You're going to need...
Tyson referenced Crawford's past fight against Egidijus Kavaliauskas, also known as the Mean Machine, where Crawford faced difficulty dealing with his opponent's size and physicality. Even though Crawford won, Tyson believes that those challenges will only intensify when he steps into the ring with Canelo, an even bigger, stronger, and more experienced fighter.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamel Charlo already proved.
For Tyson, size matters significantly at the highest level of boxing. It's not just about power. It's also about whether a smaller fighter can withstand the constant pressure and physicality of a naturally larger opponent. However, Tyson didn't completely count Crawford out. Canelo might be stepping into the ring with a beast, Tyson acknowledged, suggesting that if Crawford can overcome the weight difference, he could be a real threat.
Why I think it's very difficult. Canelo got the IQ. He got the size. He got the power. Maybe. It's a very difficult fight, but I think if anybody could get it done, it's Terence Crawford.
Tyson knows firsthand that fighters can defy size disadvantages. Throughout his own career, he defeated many taller, heavier opponents with his combination of speed, power, and precision. But when he warns about the dangers of size, it comes from experience. He has seen fighters crumble under physical pressure, but he has also seen those with exceptional skills rise above it.
In boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody.
Meanwhile, boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult has also shared his thoughts on the fight. Initially skeptical, Showbiz was concerned that Crawford doesn't have the same defensive style as Floyd Mayweather, who famously defeated Canelo in 2013. Showbiz pointed out that Crawford takes more risks and gets hit more often than Mayweather did. While Mayweather relied on elusive defense and counterpunching, Crawford's aggressive style could make him more vulnerable against Canelo's power. If Canelo lands too many clean shots, it could be a problem for Crawford, Showbiz warned.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. Terence is freakishly strong.
With different perspectives coming in from boxing legends and analysts, one thing is certain: this fight has the potential to be one of the biggest and most intriguing matchups in recent boxing history. Can Crawford's skill and strategy overcome Canelo's size and power? Or will the Mexican champion prove to be too much for the welterweight king? The boxing world will be watching closely as the countdown to this historic battle continues.
A lot of Canelo fans, for some reason, they know that there's no excuse. If he loses to Bud, this is a huge mark on his resume. If he beats Bud, he does beat a very accomplished fighter in his era, but there's no ready-made excuse.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult has reconsidered his initial doubts about Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez after taking a deeper look at Canelo's performances under pressure. Showbiz now believes Crawford has a real shot at victory if he can execute the right game plan. Two key fights stood out to Showbiz: Canelo's loss to Floyd Mayweather in 2013 and his more recent defeat to Dimitri Bivol in 2022. In both fights, Canelo struggled when forced to fight on the back foot. Mayweather and Bivol used superior footwork, movement, and pressure to keep Canelo from finding his rhythm, preventing him from fully unleashing his power. Showbiz now believes Crawford could follow a similar strategy to neutralize Canelo's strengths.
Think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo.
I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight.
One key weapon Showbiz highlighted is Crawford's body jab. Crawford has repeatedly used sharp, well-placed jabs to his opponents' midsections to slow them down, weaken their stamina, and force them to lower their guard. If Crawford can establish a consistent body jab early in the fight, he could wear Canelo down and create openings for bigger shots later on. Another major factor Showbiz pointed out is Crawford's southpaw stance.
I think he wants to make history.
It's a big fight. Well, to make history is worth doing it.
Yeah, I think he's won.
While Canelo has faced southpaws before, none possessed Crawford's blend of speed, power, and ring IQ. Additionally, Crawford's ability to switch stances seamlessly makes him an unpredictable and difficult target. Constantly changing angles and keeping Canelo guessing could be a major advantage for Crawford.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him.
Perhaps the most significant observation Showbiz made is Canelo's tendency to fade in the later rounds. In several recent fights, Canelo's stamina has noticeably dropped after the 6th or 7th round, allowing his opponents to gain momentum. In contrast, Crawford is known for getting stronger as the fight progresses. Showbiz believes that if Crawford can survive the early rounds and avoid Canelo's biggest shots, he could take over down the stretch and either win by decision or secure a late stoppage. Despite their differing takes on the matchup, Both Mike Tyson and Showbiz the Adult agree that Crawford is facing a massive challenge. The weight difference is real, and Canelo's power is a serious threat. However, both analysts also recognize Crawford's intelligence, adaptability, and ability to exploit weaknesses. Tyson, who initially expressed concerns about the size disparity, still respects Crawford's elite skill set. Canelo might be stepping into the ring with a beast, Tyson admitted, acknowledging that Crawford has the ability to pull off the upset if he can handle the physicality. For Showbiz, the key to victory lies in the game plan. If Crawford can effectively neutralize Canelo's power, capitalize on his weaknesses, and maintain his stamina into the later rounds, the world could witness one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. Legendary boxing promoter Bob Arum has thrown his full support behind Terence Crawford, believing that the former undisputed welterweight champion has what it takes to dethrone the unified super middleweight king, with negotiations reportedly nearing completion for a September showdown in Las Vegas. Anticipation for the fight is reaching a fever pitch. Arum, who has worked closely with Crawford throughout his career, sees him as one of the most uniquely talented fighters in the sport today. One of the biggest factors Arum highlighted is Crawford's rare ambidextrous fighting style. Speaking to Fight Hype, Arum stated, "Crawford is a great boxer-puncher, and he's totally ambidextrous. Crawford's ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw mid-fight sets him apart from nearly every other elite fighter. This unpredictability has left past opponents confused and frustrated, allowing Crawford to control the tempo and dictate the fight." Arum referenced Crawford's dominant 2023 victory over Errol Spence Jr., where he shocked the boxing world by completely dismantling an elite welterweight champion. Spence had trained to fight a right-handed opponent, yet Crawford stayed in a southpaw stance the entire fight, completely throwing Spence off his game. Spence trained to fight a right-hander, and all he saw was a southpaw, Arum explained. By constantly switching angles and keeping Spence guessing, Crawford was able to control every aspect of the fight and ultimately stop Spence in devastating fashion. Arum believes that this same elite skill set could be a game-changer against Canelo. If Crawford can impose his style, neutralize Canelo's power, and control the pace of the fight, Arum sees a clear path to victory for Crawford. Bob Arum has drawn an intriguing comparison between a potential Terence Crawford vs. Canelo Alvarez showdown and the iconic 2008 bout between Manny Pacquiao and Oscar de la Hoya. At the time, Pacquiao moved up 2 weight classes to face the much bigger and more experienced de la Hoya, with many believing the size difference would be too much for him to overcome. However, Pacquiao's speed, footwork, and unpredictable angles completely outclassed de la Hoya, leading to a stoppage victory. Arum, who promoted Pacquiao then, sees a similar scenario unfolding with Crawford. He believes Crawford's agility, ring IQ, and ability to switch stances could frustrate Canelo in the same way Pacquiao did to de la Hoya. This isn't the first time Arum has expressed high praise for Crawford's skill set. In an interview with S News, he even suggested that Crawford could have handed Floyd Mayweather his first loss had they fought in their primes. "Crawford beats Mayweather because fighting a guy his size is unique," Arum explained. "The one thing Crawford has that most fighters don't is that he's completely ambidextrous. When he shifts from orthodox to southpaw, he's equally effective." Mayweather, known for his elite defense and ability to neutralize opponents' strengths, would have faced a serious challenge dealing with Crawford's unpredictable style. Unlike many fighters who rely on stance switching as a gimmick, Crawford uses it as a strategic tool to dictate the pace and direction of a fight. Constantly changing angles forces his opponents to adjust on the fly, often leading to costly mistakes that Crawford is quick to exploit. Arum, having watched Crawford refine this skill over the years, believes it could be the key to unlocking victory against Canelo. Shocker Stevenson, a rising star and close friend of Crawford, also weighed in on the potential matchup. Speaking to Boxing News, Stevenson acknowledged that Crawford has the best chance of challenging Canelo but didn't downplay the difficulty of the task. "I think it's very difficult," Stevenson said. "Canelo's got the IHQ, the size, and the power. It's a very tough fight. But if anybody can get it done, it's Terence Crawford." Stevenson's perspective reflects the high-stakes nature of the bout. While Crawford's skill set makes him a formidable opponent, Canelo is widely regarded as one of the most complete fighters in the sport. His combination of power, precision, and ring intelligence has allowed him to defeat a variety of opponents, from slick boxers to hard-hitting brawlers. Despite suffering 2 losses, one to Floyd Mayweather and another to Dimitri Bivol, Canelo has demonstrated resilience and an ability to adapt. Facing Crawford would present a unique challenge, but Canelo has plenty of experience against southpaws and unconventional fighters. However, Crawford's ability to seamlessly switch stances may introduce a level of unpredictability that even Canelo hasn't encountered before. The tactical chess match between these 2 elite fighters would undoubtedly be a spectacle for boxing fans. Adding to the intrigue is how quickly this fight has gone from speculation to a real possibility. Just a year ago, the idea of Crawford moving up to face Canelo seemed unlikely. However, reports suggest that Saudi boxing figure Turki Al-Sheikh has played a key role in bringing both sides closer to an agreement. His influence has breathed new life into negotiations, making what once seemed like a fantasy fight now feel within reach. For Crawford, this bout represents the ultimate opportunity to cement his legacy. Moving up in weight to challenge Canelo is a bold and risky move, but it's also a chance to join the ranks of legends like Manny Pacquiao and Sugar Ray Leonard, fighters who took on seemingly insurmountable challenges and came out victorious. For Canelo, a win over Crawford would further solidify his dominance and reinforce his standing as one of the greatest fighters of this generation. Despite the weight disparity, this fight is about more than just size. It's about skill, strategy, and the will to win. With both fighters having so much to prove, the stakes couldn't be higher. If this mega fight becomes official, fans can expect nothing short of a war. Crawford's adaptability and high-level boxing IQ will be tested like never before, while Canelo will need to find a way to neutralize Crawford's speed and precision. Who do you think comes out on top? Drop your predictions below and stay tuned for more updates on this potential blockbuster showdown.